all grit, close-knit, no quit. We here, ladies and gentlemen, we have life as the Knicks rally at the Fieldhouse in Indiana to take Game 3 and officially on the board in the series. We have a series, ladies and gentlemen. The streets are buzzing. 106-100. The New York Knicks grit out this win just when you think it was all done. Down 20. The Knicks rally with a Karl Anthony Towns explosion. And the Pacers went cold. The Knicks defense stepped it up. And Tibbs went into his bag with the bench stepping up in a major way. And the starters closing this one out. Game 4, man, is going to be hot. And what a series this has been so far, Knicks Nation. Taking heart pills right now. But what a performance from the New York Knicks, stepping up in adversity. 20-point deficit, what? Man, let's break this thing down. Karl Anthony Towns had his signature Knick moment tonight in Indiana at the Fieldhouse. Welcome in, chat. Great to have you with us tonight, man. This is for the believers. The guys are the diehards that rock orange and blue. It's what we do. And we weren't going to go out like that, man. Backs to the wall, in a hole, down 0-2, down 20, with the Fieldhouse going crazy. But Tibbs pushed the right buttons, man, and his guys repaid the faith. Salute. Emmanuel, M. Jean, Chris, Johnny, what's good? El Tango, Lily Phillips, Cardiac, Kentot. What a performance from Cat down the stretch, man. We needed our second option to become the first option with JB in foul trouble. Juan B, big win against all odds, man. Cat's signature moment and great contributions from McBride. You know, with JB in foul trouble again. We've got so much to talk about tonight in this one. The Pacers played an excellent first half, but Cat's 24 points, man, on efficiency, getting loose from downtown, getting some open looks. The Knicks battled a lot of foul trouble in this one, and they just pulled off a juggling act. You know, Tibbs, one of probably Tibbs's finest coaching performances, in my opinion, in terms of taking risks, some of them not paying off, but then pivoting and the guys stepping up when he needed them to. DeLon Wright, solid minutes. Landry Shamet, Josh Hart, key rebounds as well. And Brunson, buckets, as always. As Aaron Neesmith rolled his ankle, missed probably, I'm going to say, 10 minutes of this game in a really critical time. And the Knicks took advantage of that. They had to take advantage when Neesmith went down. Like Bob says, Josh coming off the bench, the free throws helped as well, guys. 27 of 30 from the free throw line. I think that was a pivotal way to close this game out, right? There was no easy buckets tonight. Mikal Bridges fumbling a little bit at the rim. You got to give credit to Indiana's shot blocking as well. You know, Hart got blocked at the rim. Deuce got blocked at the rim. Bridges as well. But Karl Anthony Towns, man, got loose. And from downtown, this could have been an and one. Looked like he got fouled as well. The Knicks could not buy a whistle tonight, man. Scott Foster, talk about he ain't the great series extender. Man, he is trying to end this thing early, and the Knicks said, no, no, no. We're headed back to the Mecca at MSG. Freeway Hustler says, what the is good? Shout out to the chat. Let's go, guys. Feeling hot tonight, man. Was this an Indiana choke job? Against the New York Knicks, 20-point leads are never safe. Fam, they ain't never safe, man. Two big-time bad calls, man. They called a travel on Cat, as our guy B-Ball Breakdown spells out. Cat never left his left foot. Never left the hardwood, man. He kept it on the floor, man. That should have been a bucket. The Knicks should have closed this one out earlier, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen. All the pressure goes back to Indiana now for game 4, man. Nobody wants to win at home. You know, we see all the neutrals, the diehards loving this series already, man. If they ain't already, this is one of the highest rated playoff series so far, man, for the neutrals. Obviously for us right now, man, we're riding every possession like our life depended on it. But say what you want about this team, man. They've achieved so much this season already, and I wasn't prepared to say my habituals, you know. But at one point, you know, it looked like the season was done. But I knew that the team had another run. They had another run in them, and just when you think the other team, you know, thinks that they've got a step on us, they don't. Another blown call, man. Jalen Brunson successfully drew a charge, only to be challenged by Rick Carlisle, and they give the call. Defensive foul back to Indiana. I can't believe that, man. JB, perfect guarding position. Nemhard lowered the shoulder on that one, but that went against the Knicks. So much went against the Knicks, but the comeback is complete, guys. You can breathe a sigh of relief. High five. Let's get it. Let's go out there and put them under pressure game 4. But at least we have a game 5 back at Madison Square Garden where we have the chance to force another game at the Fieldhouse if we don't end up taking game 4. But I say we're going to rock with the same situation. Deuce McBride got into foul trouble, and that actually changed the game. Credit to Indiana for getting up 20. The Knicks were playing poor defense, but that was aided by the fact that Deuce McBride got in heavy foul trouble, and we were guarding quite well with Deuce out there. Deuce was a +7 in 15 minutes. I'm kind of surprised Deuce only played 15 minutes, man. They were huge minutes, and it felt like he was out there for a lot longer. I guess every minute Brunson ain't out there, it feels, it feels like it's 5 minutes. Got to shout out my guy OG Anunoby. People been wondering, where's OG? This was a perfect two-way game from the OG, the dog, the Demon Obi tonight, man. OG missed out by a few votes on all NBA defense, second team, man. He showed up tonight. What a stop on Pascal Siakam, man. Showing emotion, showing fight as he stifled Pascal Siakam and got the block as well. That was one of the best stops of the night. OG finished 6 of 9, 4 of 6 from downtown, man. 66%. Missed a few free throws, actually. But 16 points with a steal, 3 blocks, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. 16 points was big time. Mikal Bridges missed so many open shots tonight as well. So that's something that hurt us, but is a positive maybe going into game 4, that Mikal Bridges can hit those shots. We are in with a chance to level this series in game 4. What about this bucket from OG, man? Kept his foot on the line. That's what started the run. Look at the score, 47-60 right there, top of the third. The Knicks up against it. Credit to the Knicks' late run in the second quarter. That's what brought the 20-point deficit down to 13 at the half, fam. And that allowed the Knicks to give them some hope headed into the halftime break. They came out and executed early despite the Brunson foul trouble. Thibodeau does have to be wary of keeping Brunson out there with foul trouble because he's kind of getting into some trouble with the fouls right now. But look at that, man. For once, wire to wire, we're on the right end of another comeback, but this time against Indiana as the Pacers choke away a 20-point lead. That's 3 times now Indiana have lost game 3 in every single series, fam. So this is a trend. We're seeing some trends on both sides. Indiana lost game 3 against Milwaukee. They lost game 3 against Cleveland. They lost game 3 against the New York Knicks as well, man. Are they as gritty as the Knicks? Possibly not. right now. A lot of mental fortitude. Let's see how they handle the pressure. I thought TJ McConnell was fantastic for them tonight, man. He was probably the best pacer. Going to keep it a buck. Obviously, you know, Neesmith going out really hurt the Indiana Pacers, but TJ McConnell absolutely murdered the Knicks and they couldn't stay in front of him. But when the Knicks defense tightened up late and they were able to stay in front of their man and stay disciplined, that was the hardest thing. I just didn't really see where the Knicks could stay disciplined in this one. But enter DeLon Wright, enter Landry Shamet and the bench mob, man, in the biggest moment of some of their careers, and especially of this season, guys that have hardly played, the stones that they displayed to stay out there, man. Emmanuel says DeLon was super solid. Yeah, shout out to everyone that's been calling out for DeLon Wright to get some minutes, you know. What we saw tonight was a veteran who didn't look, you know, he didn't look phased out there. He looked comfortable defensively. You know, he was out of rhythm a little bit, missing some assignments, but his wingspan was able to help us out with some deflections, and he ran the point. He ran the point. Jazzman NYC says Tibbs finally played the bench. Of course, we start tonight with the big change. Mitchell Robinson in the starting lineup, guys, and it got off to a slow start, but you can understand why Tibbs did it, and I'm glad that he did, you know. This is the time when you have to make a major adjustment, man. It might not always pay off. However, it did in this instance, guys, as we give out the first grade of the evening, continue to shout you guys out and talk about game 4, what lies ahead. But Mitchell Robinson finished +1, was 3 or 4 from the field, gave us 6 rebounds, 3 offensive, only finished with 3 fouls, a turnover, but got a block, a steal, an assist. And the 6 points was key, but the 28 minutes was key with Cat in foul trouble. But obviously, as I mentioned, Cat, we have to start with the Thundercat, Cat Daddy, Karl Anthony Towns, with his Nick moment of the season, legacy defining, potentially. We'll see how this series plays out. But by far, the most gritty Karl Anthony Towns performance of the season. And at the biggest time, the biggest moment, we needed something from Karl Anthony Towns, and we got it. We got it. You see all the tantalizing skill set on display from Karl Anthony Towns, and he led us in this one. His 3-point shooting, you know, that's the biggest thing above the break threes that this team has been missing. When he's able to get open looks, he cooked Turner on the switches, and the Knicks were setting great screens as well. We take a look at the team stats, and then we give out the game ball right now as the Knicks take a 106-100 victory in Indiana, and all teams have won on the road as well. If it's going by trend, the New York Knicks should be favorites heading into Game 4, man. I can't wait to see what the odds look like. We'll take a check before we wrap up tonight. But fast break points, man, the Knicks were getting cooked. Every single turnover, every single missed bucket ended up in a fast break point until late in the game when the Knicks defense was solid. Only 13 assists from the Knicks, still managed to pull it out with some heavy shot making. Indiana finished with 20 assists, but went cold. The ball movement went stagnant. Halliburton got bailed out by that foul on Bridges, which was not a foul. But the Knicks guarded the 3, ladies and gentlemen. When we guard the 3, we can win any game. I don't care who it is against. We held the Pacers to 20% from downtown. No Neesmith. Nobody was cooking us from 3 tonight, man. Finally, they weren't getting those 3s down. And the Knicks stayed disciplined, defending the 3 ball. Right? From the field, Pacers only shot 44% as well. The Knicks shot 40, basically the same. Both teams had 4 blocks. The Knicks had more turnovers and still won. Lost the rebounding as well and still won. So the Knicks finding new ways to pull the wins out. Captain Clutch helped us pull it out as well. He was fresh with the extra break. Brunson only played 30 minutes tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, a legacy-defining game from Karl Anthony Towns. He's going to be the first grade of the evening, as well as the chat's buzzing. Smash that like button. The Knicks have a chance to level the series on Tuesday night. We'll be there. And what a performance from Karl Anthony Towns. He'll get the game ball of probably his biggest game of his career. Now, granted, I haven't watched every single Minnesota game, and obviously he played big time in the Western Conference Finals, but when his team needed him the most, I'm quite confident saying that this is Karl Anthony Towns' biggest moment in meaningful circumstances. Very meaningful circumstances, man. Up and down game, as always is with Karl Anthony Towns, but the way he stepped up and took advantage of that mismatch and mixed it up. What I liked most, guys, is that he was driving, he was hitting the three, he was posting up, he was getting to the line. It was a mixture of everything tonight from Karl Anthony Towns, man, when Brunson was on the floor. And yeah, this team didn't want to go down in a 3-0 hole, 0-3 hole. And we don't have to worry about that right now because the pressure's back on Indiana. But obviously the Knicks have some momentum now. Game 4 is a game you have to go in there and, put the pressure on Indiana. Start gritty, start strong, hit some shots. Let's see what Indiana do. We'll talk about later tonight. Have the Knicks figured out some defensive momentum? Some looks, some lineups with Deuce playing more. Maybe DeLon Wright playing a little bit more. Landry Shamet. As Stan Van Gundy was saying on the call, Benedict Mathurin, man, he was awful tonight. He really hurt the Indiana Pacers with some illegal screens, some folly, some turnovers. Indiana did pass up a lot of looks as well from 3. Let's get to some comments now. Kat gets the A+ game ball. You guys are hype. Yours truly says, who's choking now? Knicks in 6, let's go. I'm kind of nervous about heading back to Madison Square Garden, fam. So let's get that dub. Let's get that dub in Game 4 in Indiana. Because you never know what's going to happen at MSG. But I know the crowd is going to be hype. I knew this team wasn't going to get swept, fam. I knew we were going to get one game in Indiana. One of the reasons why I felt so strongly is because the Knicks have not lost 4 games all season in a row. That would be the first time all season if the Knicks had lost 4 games in a row. So that wasn't going to happen. Now, here's a fun fact. The Knicks have only lost 3 games in a row. 3 times this season. And so when you look at it that way, it's like, okay, 3 times, 3 games in a row. But it stays at 3 because tonight the Knicks stopped the skid. They took the game. And finally Halliburton and Pacers threw one away. So we're kind of 1-1. We threw away game 1. They threw away tonight. We earned it. They earned the comeback in game 1, despite the Knicks' follies. Game 2 was a flip of a coin. What happens in game 4, man? Nobody knows. We got an OG performance tonight. I think Mikal Bridges can be a lot better. And let's keep going. Let's keep going. Buzzer beater, salute. Jay Supreme, salute. Says, where's your choke sign now? Hella goofy. 1 game at a time, says Emmanuel. GK says, hey CT, Knicks punched them right back in the mouth. Still recovering from this ball game. This is playoff ball, man. It's up and down. It's got that 90s vibe. I feel it in my heart right now, Fittingly, the first time since 25 years, since 90s, that we were in the Eastern Conference Finals. Here we are in a back-and-forth series, and we really should be up 2-1. You could make the case we could be up 3-0, but you got to give the Indiana Pacers credit. It's been a very even series so far. It's Mother's Day today in the Dominican Republic, and this was Kat's gift to his mum, says Cardiac Knicks. Man, what a comment, man. Appreciate that. Carlene and Jamie, says Kat over Turner tonight. Yeah, he showed his worth tonight, did Karl Anthony Towns. Just when there was a lot of people doubting and said, look, I'm done with this. I'm not going to call some people out, but I was reading some tweets already saying, to hell with Cat. Let's trade. Let's do this. Let's do that. But let's pump the brakes, guys. It's been a great season so far, but the season ain't done yet. Let these guys write their own story. Let them write their own legacy. Let them go out their way. And they certainly don't want to go home anytime soon, right? Just when you thought they could have let go of the rope, and man, this was a game where they could have let go of the rope. They did not. They ain't thinking about Cancun. They ain't thinking about vacation right now. They're thinking about something bigger right now, and they capitalized. But it was a squad. It was a squad effort. Deuce, Shamit, Delon Wright, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges getting stops as well. A+ for the Cat, says Johnny. Bob says Brunson was the only one that was negative tonight in the minus+. Yeah, Brunson's decision making has been up and down a lot more recently, down in some spots. But look, I think fatigue is creeping in with Brunson. As much as I look at him as Superman, Brunson's being defended, man, at a really high level. Everyone wants to put that. Everyone's buying the T-shirts with Hallie doing the choke. What about this, Knicks Nation? If the Knicks win this series, how about this for a T-shirt right here, fam? Let's get this printed up. And you got the referee right next to Halliburton, man. What a perfect image with Karl Anthony Towns puffing his chest out. Says, no, 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 I'm taking this one against all odds. But, guys, that Indiana's going to come in. They're going to come in fired up. They're going to come in frustrated. We have to hit our shots early in game 4 and put the pressure on. And, man, it's going to be physical. It's going to be super physical. So another 20-point comeback for our New York Knicks. They have the most 20-point comebacks, 3 in a single postseason since 1998. Ladies and gentlemen, our Knicks making history on the right side right now. Just like Kat said, we want to be part of history. We want to make history. Larson says, let Delon dog Halliburton. Yeah, great defense tonight. Jay says the bench won this game with Wright, Shamit, Deuce, along with Cat. Tibbs, use your bench. Big time. I think this could be a momentum shift in the series, fam. No campaign. I hate to kick him when he's down, but obviously campaigns helped us throughout the season. But when push comes to shove, Tibbs went the other way, and our guys stepped up, and they gave him some solid minutes. Shamit plus 12, team high. We'll talk about the bench in a minute. But for the rest of the squad, shout out bitch, 28 minutes and only 3 fouls. That's growth right there. Yeah, did you see Obi and Shamit get into it? Freeway, I see you. Since when is Obi tough? Why was he talking little to Shamit like that? Yeah, Obi been going back and forth with Knicks fans at MSG. People have been talking some smack. Obi's a front runner, man. Talented guy, athletic, but he's a front runner, man. I think the Knicks were able to stay in front of him in the half court. Despite the Pacers killing us in fast break buckets, Obi wasn't really one of those guys tonight, man. It was TJ. Kento says, yeah, TJ was a headache host. And I think that wouldn't have been the case if Deuce McBride stayed out of foul trouble. That's one of my biggest storylines heading into Game 4, guys. Deuce McBride only played 15 minutes tonight. I think he would have played 20, maybe 22. But we bought ourselves some great Brunson rest, man. He's going to be good. Brunson is going to be good, man. We might get a Brunson game in Game 4 because he hasn't really taken over a game yet in this series in terms of leading us to a victory. 30 minutes tonight from JB. We only get a day's break, but that'll help a lot with JB 30 minutes. the guy defending him rolled his ankle, Aaron Neesmith, and so that's going to be a fascinating storyline. Emmanuel says, did Indy finally look fatigued to anyone? Yeah, no doubt. 100%. 100%. Great comment, Emmanuel. Agree. I think, you can only run up and down for so long. They used up a lot of gas and they just couldn't deliver that knockout blow. They were trying. When it got to 20, the Knicks just held on to that rope, man. They held on. They got it down to 13 with some big-time threes from Bridges and OG. That big three in the corner from Bridges was big. That was his biggest shot of the night. When it relates to what Bridges did, despite being inefficient. But look, everyone stepped up defensively, man. That's the worst that we've made the Indiana Pacers offense look. Since the series. When Cat gets loose like that, they went small. He was dominating down low. They went big with Turner. Turner late with the closeout on that one. They got ahead of themselves, did the Indiana Pacers. And look, it's tough to beat a good team 3 games in a row. Like, this was an Indiana choke still, but it's tough. It's tough to beat a team 3 games in a row. And if the Knicks were good, they were always going to have a great chance to win tonight. And it was a really bad first half, despite a great close to the second quarter, just to keep us in it. But the Knicks' second half was just amazing. It's amazing how these games swing, and what a game of basketball is with momentum. GK says, nice try by these refs. 100% agree. But you know what? We just get on with it. Josh Hart was fantastic, riding the physicality as well. I thought Brunson should have got an and one as well. He can't buy a foul. Juan says, big time minutes from Wright, Shamet, McBride. We got a bench. We just got to go to trust them. Hopefully now tonight, it's Carlisle's time to adjust, fam. Tony Bradley wasn't effective tonight. Cat put him in the blender. Buzzer says, CT, it's been an emotional roller coaster. It should be 2-1. You're on time, Buzzer. Money time. Great comment. It is, this is what it's all about, man. The NBA finals are on the line, right? I believe there's not much separating these two teams, and I would not be shocked if this team wins this series still. Every game, the Knicks have shown they can win on the road. Indiana have shown that they can win on the road. It's no holds barred. Or anything goes, fam. I feel like it's almost like whoever is in foul trouble could lose the game. It's really coming down to that. You see Neesmith goes out of the game, the Knicks dominate. Deuce goes out of the game, Indy dominate. But when Brunson went out of the game, we had the closer. We had Cat to go in there. They didn't have anybody. Siakam went missing. Turner went missing. They don't have those crafty isolation players that the Knicks can have late down the stretch. Johnny says Cat strapped this team to his back and saved our season. He saved our season big time, but so did the bench as well. And our defense late. El Tango says, you're right, CT. Mad people were talking about trade Cat, trade Mikal, ridiculous. Yeah, you never give up, fam. You never give up. Now, I understand down 0-2, down 20 points. It did look bleak. But, 3-point ball, anything's possible, Indiana ain't some juggernaut. Do I believe Tibbs... could I believe Tibbs went deeper into his bench, asks Buzzer. I think it got to that point, fam. I'm not as surprised as maybe some, because it got to the point where you're down 0-2. Data says it's, starting lineup was struggling. He had to do something, man. And what a close to the half, 45-58. 13 points seems like a lot, but when things looked even worse, 13 points is nothing, man. And our guys gave us a chance with Brunson on the bench. Jose's G Insight says defense on blast. Let's get it. Neymar says Knicks in 6. What are you guys feeling now? I think this is going 7. Omar Murray says it. Knicks in 7. So right, let's get it. AP, let's go. Says game 4 must win. Yeah, I think these games are going to be so close, man. It's going to come down to foul trouble. I just hope they call it more consistent, man. Get Scott Foster the heck out of here, man. Scott Foster tonight was one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen in terms of just inconsistent. And it goes both ways. But the challenge calls, the Knicks just have no luck right now, man. Every time we challenge a call, they make something out of the blue. They make something up. I thought Brunson drew a fair charge. I thought Cat did not travel. I thought our guys are getting hacked as well. Now I know we're the road team, but we ain't getting these calls at MSG either. I thought Indiana got a much friendly home whistle tonight in this one. AP says though, we got to stop falling behind by 20. Yeah, the crazy swings of the games. Indiana play fast. I think if Deuce didn't get into foul trouble, we probably wouldn't have gone down 20. The thing is, we've always got this game in us because the other team just thinks we're soft. They think, oh, we got this team where we want them. And before you know it, bang, we sucker punch. We hit a couple of threes. We get a fast break bucket. We stay in it, man. We've got some rough riders on this squad. Salute to this squad. This is a deep run we're making. Fatigue's creeping in. These guys are tired, man. They're banged up. This is the 3rd round. They went through a tough physical series against Detroit where they beat us up. We went through a crazy roller coaster against Boston, which could have gone 7, but we closed it out. Indiana are the fastest, most consistent team standing right now, and we're going blow for blow right now. If Tibbs just plays our bench more, I think we can win this series. I think we can knock out the most consistent informed team in the playoffs right now. And that speaks to a lot, That speaks to the fight that these guys have. Also, how could I forget, before we move on to the next grade, Cat was also hardly done by in this one. One of Cat's fouls in this one, that was a flop. B-ball breakdown again gives us the graphic. Look, Karl Anthony Towns did nothing there. He didn't touch the man. That should have been a flop and a fine. Hopefully the NBA looks down on this, man. Andrew Nemhard with the hand out, looking for the foul on Cat. That changed the game as well. So, still catching my breath, but the Knicks dealt with a lot of adversity tonight, man. That should not have been a foul call. We got killed. We got rinsed by the officials tonight, fam. And we didn't really get a massive Brunson game, as we talk about JB now. Taking care of the rock was key tonight down the stretch. Not as many turnovers. Little unlucky with the Deuce saving that one out of bounds. I thought Neesmith looked like he touched it. We've got the Denver Nuggets in the house. Appreciate you. Respect all the way. I was rooting heavy for you guys. I was rooting heavy for the Denver Nuggets to knock off OKC. I thought the Joker got a tough whistle in Game 7. Yeah, it's tough. Pull out these wins on the road. It's tough with the crowd. I think this series is up for grabs right now. Both teams can win on the road. Attrition might catch up to Indiana as well. I mean, Benedict Mathurin has been a minus this season. He's one of their key rotation players that everyone was raving about. Obi Toppin was a minus tonight. TJ continues to be the only guy that really kills us. I thought Ben Shepherd, okay, but probably one of his worst performances. Hallie was hesitant a little bit as well. But look, when he hoists those threes, it's live and die. A couple of those banked out, a couple of those fell short, and then the confidence goes down. I guess the biggest compliment I could say about Brunson and Cat is that their confidence doesn't waver. They could miss 3 threes in a row. They're still going to shoot the 4th one. Whereas Indiana, if the shots are going down, they feel great. if the shots are missing and the Knicks are pushing the pace, then the shoe is on the other foot. The shoe's back on the other foot right now. So let's see. It's going to be very interesting game 4 because I think some of the Knicks got a breather tonight. Brunson, 30 minutes. Mitchell Robinson, 28 minutes. OG only played 36. Cat, 32. Hart played 34. Roll the ball out game 4. Let's get it. Let's go back to Madison Square Garden. Split 2-2. Pacers are going to make an adjustment. But what can they do? We'll talk about that in a minute. The Bradley minutes didn't really pay off tonight. They tried to counter the double big lineups. But yeah, Mitchell Robinson's a handful right now. Elliott, great to see you. Let's get it. I know Cat's had a lot of success against the Denver Nuggets as well. He has his opponents. I think him and Turner, I would give the edge to Cat right now. Turner wasn't great tonight, but his shot blocking is real. I've got to give credit for Miles Turner's defensive prowess. He's real. Also, I've got to give a shout out to former Knick Wilson Chandler, man. He called it. I was following him. He was tweeting all throughout the game. Let me shout this man out. He tweeted that the Knicks are going to win this game, and this is when the Knicks were down 13. Where are we at? He tweeted it out that the Knicks were going to win this ball game. Let me bring up the replies. He was a believer in this one. It was there. But nevertheless, man, what a comeback. And let's talk about Jalen Brunson next up. Because Jalen Brunson got some rest. He came in after foul trouble. That was a tough 5th foul. But he played defense with 5 fouls tonight. And Brunson finished with 3 turnovers, just 1 assist tonight. 23 points, was a -6, 1 of 5 from downtown, but iced all 10 of his free throws to help the Knicks pull this one out. 6 of 18 from the field. A rough night from Brunson overall, but he came up clutch with the free throws late. Cat had 6 turnovers, but you forgive that because he obviously took over the ball game. So as I said before, I think Brunson's probably the biggest X factor for game 4, in my opinion. We haven't really got a huge Jalen Brunson game to get us over the line. Game 1, obviously the team as a whole functioned better. But execution late, Brunson, can hold his head up high for hitting all those free throws, man, and help shut out the Indiana Pacers. I'll give JB, the captain, a B. It was a rough call against him for that blocking foul, but obviously he came back in to impact the ball game and ice those free throws. So let's move on to game 4 and see what the captain has. 1 of 5 isn't going to cut it. I think we do need some long-range shot making from Brunson to help space the floor out. Mitchell Robinson's setting great screens. Cat got one of the illegal screens, but for the most part, we've been setting good screens tonight to get the shooters open. I thought the offense ran really well when Jalen Brunson was off the floor. You got to give credit to Deuce McBride, Hart, Shamet, DeLon Wright, Bridges, for OG as well, and Cat for executing the offense. That's probably another a big game in recent memory where the Knicks have ran solid offense with Brunson off the floor. Game 1 was the other one. David M says, man, Wilson Chandler was one of my favorites. Knicks alum, let's go. Elliott says, I was really impressed with the Knicks defense in the 4th. They were intense, laser focused and hitting their rotations. 100%, and I think that's what helped us ice the game. Cat's shot making, but doing it on the other end. OG's block, was phenomenal. Staying disciplined as well for the most part. And yeah, the refs bailed Indiana out on a few of those possessions. Next up, let's talk about Mitchell Robinson getting the start. His first start in the playoffs. How did that look now, ladies and gentlemen, as Mitchell Robinson helps the Knicks take game 3, played clutch minutes late as well. Offense, defensive substitutions with Cat. Man, Tibbs did a good job tonight inserting Mitchell. I see a lot of people say that he could have inserted Deuce as well. I think it's definitely a fair call. I think Deuce deserves to get a chance with the starters more as well. But obviously, they see that the Knicks can get an edge rebounding, so they go with Mitch. You know, you lose Hart, you lose some rebounding, so you go with Mitch. And there were concerns offensively. You know, how were the Knicks going to score enough? But the Knicks had a chance to obviously, hold the perimeter down with switching, and obviously hold the paint down with Mitchell Robinson out there starting. The Knicks did not get off to a great start, but it worked out. It worked out in the end, and I could see Thibodeau sticking with it. I would stick with it. Maybe bring in Deuce a bit quicker though. You could start Mitch again and just bring Hart and Deuce McBride and DeLon Wright in quicker, maybe at the 5-minute point. Keep Cat out of foul trouble as well. You allow Cat to substitute out after 5 minutes. You bring Hart in. You keep Mitch out there. And you got to get off to a great start on the road. And I think Tibbs had the right idea. It didn't necessarily look like it paid off early in the game, but I think it was the right idea. Mitchell Robinson had been giving them fits on the glass. We buzzing tonight, Mets, Knicks. Yeah, as well. I know Mets are buzzing right now. Elliot says, I can't believe Tibbs really started Mitch over Hart and went 9 deep. Maybe it was Rick Brunson that got in his ear. Maybe it was the assistants. Maybe it was the pressure that got to Tibbs. But either way, he did it. And it paid off for us tonight. Phillips says, starting Mitch led to no quick 10-point lead. The first. Yeah, we held them in check. Phillip, I think Indiana went on their run with the Knicks turnovers, and we went cold offensively, but also the foul trouble really hurt us. But shout out to the squad late in that second quarter. They kept us in it. They kept us going tonight. Former Nick, Iman Shumpert, also chiming in, says, unbelievable game for the Knicks. They've found ways to do it no matter what, but have Brunson in foul trouble and Cat playing with foul trouble and turning it on for 24 and 15. You have to be excited heading into game 4. Best believe that, man. We up. We back up. Knicks Nation. Game 4 is going to be buzzing. Pressure back on Indiana, but we did our job. Like I said, just go to Indiana. We ain't satisfied yet, but we got the one. We got the one that we needed to bring it back to Madison Square Garden and extend the series, right? That's all you had to focus on, losing the first 2 games. Just extend the series, because you just never know. Players can go cold. They can have a stinker. The Knicks could get hot. There can be an injury. There could be a momentum shift. Anything can happen as well. Aaron Neesmith got back into the game. He gritted it out. I think he'll probably play, it looks like, in game 4, but he might be limited. Maybe JB can really put him through the ringer as well. You heard it here first. I think we're going to get a huge Jalen Brunson performance in game 4. Hopefully tie things up back to Madison Square Garden for a best of 3. Imagine that. If the Knicks can get game 4, it becomes a best of 3 series with the Knicks having 2 games at Madison Square Garden. But we got to win game 4. You got to sell out. Sell out and get game 4. If Indiana get game 4, then it's a 3-1 hole again as well. Cardiac says 7 more wins to go, baby. Yeah, what about tomorrow, man? Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves taking the big game on their home floor as well to make it 1-2 as well in that series. So that's going to be interesting. Game 4 in that series too. Let's see how that plays out. But yeah, I think we're going to get a massive Brunson game. That should have been an and one over Neesmith, in my opinion. Without further ado, we'll give out the next grade to Mitchell Robinson. I've got to bring Mitchie up actually on the graphic right now because Josh Hart came off our bench. Where are we at with that? Here we are. Yes, Mitchie. Mitchie is here, starting 5. Did his job. Let's see how Carlisle adjusts. I don't really know what more they can do outside of maybe rely on Obi a little bit more, just try to run. You could see the broadcast. Carlisle was imploring their players just to run whenever the double big lineups are out there. But guess what? They can't run all the time. If the Knicks are hitting buckets or the Knicks are getting second chance opportunities, the Pacers can't run. So this series could swing on the factor of Mitchell Robinson and Cat staying out of foul trouble. That's going to be pivotal right now. But with that said, I'm going to go for the grade. Mitchell Robinson's first start of the season. I'm going to go B+. What a time to step up from Mitch as well. 3 offensive rebounds, 6 total, and held us down. Held us down in this one on the road in front of a hostile environment as the Knicks quiet the crowd. The Knicks kept those Pacer fans quiet late down the stretch, despite getting the whistle. Yeah, shout outs to the DeLon Wright believers. DeLon Wright Hive, shout out. Can't wait to talk about our bench. Next up, I want to talk about OG Anunoby because OG, 16 points, knocked down some threes, 4 of 6. Man, say what you want about OG's ability to create a shot and his inconsistent offense, but his shooting has been pretty consistent. His shooting from distance has really delivered in these playoffs, postseason games. 66% from downtown, right? By far our best 3-point shooter in this team, on volume as well. 16 points is big time. 2 assists, a steal, 3 blocks, 4 stocks from the defensive wing stopper, but gave us 6 of 9 from the field as well. Probably his best game of the series on both sides, from OG Anunoby. And grittiness. He feels at home in Indiana, obviously coming out of Indiana University. Big time performance from OG. So I'm going to go A. An A performance tonight from OG Anunoby. Was a big part of that run. Hit some timely threes. Got a big stop on Pascal. That was a game-changing stop in that one. AP says, did the Minnesota Knicks trade winner hasn't been decided yet? Maybe if we meet in the finals. I'm hoping for that. Best case scenario. David says, my only gripe with Tibbs tonight is leaving Brunson in the game after picking up 3 fouls in the first half. Yeah, agree, David. It's tough because he won't trust the next point guard unless he really has to. And, he has to when Brunson obviously picks up the 4 foul. But his guys repaid the faith. Hopefully he trusts them a lot more now. I must admit, Deuce has been a little bit hit and miss with the turnovers, but tonight, man, he was solid as a rock tonight. Buzzer asks CT, will Mitch be back next season? He's under contract. I feel like he will be based on what we're seeing. The Knicks need him together with Cat. Hopefully this run can continue. Hopefully those two continue to thrive next to each other. Mitch is fully healthy, and he's been so impactful this offseason, man. As the Knicks complete another 20-point comeback. Cat definitely showed his worth tonight. Cat ain't going nowhere, fam. Best believe that, right? Leon Rose, they believe in Cat. They'll figure it out. But yeah, they ain't trading Cat after one season, in my opinion. I think with better coaching, some better offensive sets, you see how dominant Cat can be. I mean, tonight was no surprise. It was in terms of what Cat can do. It was a surprise that he sort of broke out, against a very rigid offensive structure. But you see, when you give him a daylight of space, he can kill you. He can kill the other team in terms of from distance with the 3 ball, putting the ball on the floor as well when he's playing under control. So big time effort from our starters tonight, and the adjustment worked because overall, if you look at the starters' minutes, they've been a minus basically before the change up. Tonight, we're all in the plus except JB. Next up, Mikal Bridges. We talked about his shooting early, 1 of 6 from downtown. We need a great Mikal Bridges game, I think, and we can level this series. Hopefully he shakes off the rust from tonight and gives us another epic Mikal Bridges performance. If not, just get to the mid-range. Get to your spots, Mikal. The 3-point ball was a little bit rushed tonight, where he was shooting really quick. He was not setting his feet. He's got that little hitch as well with his jumper. But if we can get some 3-point balls to go down from Mikal, that's going to give us a great chance. And so Mikal Bridges finished a +2 still, 15 points, gave us 2 steals, 2 rebounds, got to the line, 2 free throws as well, but 6 of 18. So we have to clean that up. But obviously his defense was impactful down the stretch, and he was a +2 as well. And so I'm going to give him just the break-even average C+ performance from Mikal individually, but he contributed defensively, especially to get some stops. Hopefully he can start hitting more shots because we really need it. Cat delivered offensively tonight, but Mikal Bridges is a big part of our offense, fam, especially with Brunson in foul trouble. But as we tick over now, we talk about Tibbs and the bench. Deuce McBride, man. Whew. I thought tonight was one of Deuce McBride's greatest performances in adversity, in a tough spot. But I'm going to adjust the Tibbs graphic and give out the grade for Tom Thibodeau. Been under a lot of pressure. Some say he was forced to make that adjustment. He did it. He made the adjustment, and the Knicks pulled out the victory. So hopefully he learns. Hopefully he learns that he can make adjustments. He can trust the bench, and they can deliver. All right. So I'm not going to give Tibbs all the credit. It was a move that was long waiting to happen. However, he did it, and then the Knicks pulled it off. Right. So I'm going to give the grade right now for Tom Thibodeau, the coach. Hopefully got us back into this series now. Let's see what happens in game 4. Yeah, I'll give Tibbs the B+ because he went further down the bench. He trusted Mitch, DeLon Wright over Cam, Deuce McBride in a tough spot. He trusted Landry Shamet as well. I like those Shamet lineups, some of them, with Hart. There's a lot of activity defensively with DeLon Wright, Shamet, Hart. Those guys bouncing off screens and fresh legs. We need some more bodies up in this thing. Hopefully the Pacers can tire out a little bit. We'll see. Jazzman says, yeah, Obi hitting them threes. And Johnny also says, CT, talk about OG's defensive play of that game. The stop on Siakam was big time. Discipline, stayed on his feet, took the bumps as well. Neesmith, I think it was against Neesmith. Neesmith trying to force his way in, but he just bounced off OG, man. Like a drunk player bounces off a bouncer at a nightclub. He was trying to force his way into OG, but OG wasn't having it in this one. So that's the starting 5. and the coach tonight. I'm still coming to terms with what we saw from Karl Anthony Towns, man. I can't shout him out enough, as we talk about the bench now. Cat put this team on his back, and just had an explosion. Hopefully he has a couple more in that, and we can get to the finals. Because he can dominate, Miles Turner. He can dominate. But obviously defensively is a concern, right? Mets Knicks as are called for right to play. Yeah, great shout. I think DeLon Wright's here to stay right now. Great 13 minutes. Landry with 11. Deuce McBride with 15. All in the plus, fam. Deuce +7 in a narrow victory. DeLon Wright +2. Landry Shamet +12. Thibodeau loves him some Landry Shamet. He's going to go back to Landry. Hit a big 3 as well when we were down. That was big time. Landry, 1 of 2 from downtown. 2 assists from the shooting guard. 2 assists from Landry Shamet. He can put the ball on the floor. He can navigate screens. He's played in some deep playoff runs. He's got experience. Play him, man. I think we've found our bench now. Fam. Hart, McBride, DeLon Wright, and Shamet. That's our bench mob right now. Precious, a little unlucky. Shout out to Precious. I see you on the bench. Encouraging your teammates. I'm sure he wanted to be out there, but the guys, the bench delivered tonight, man. Let's give out these grades. As Deuce finished with 9 points, including all 4 free throws. 2 points from DeLon Wright, 3 points from Shamet, 8 points from Josh Hart as well. Big time performance from Josh Hart with 10 rebounds from Hart. All 6 free throws from Jay Hart too. Got to get used to Hart coming off the bench, man. This is all new to me right now, for real. As I bring up the bench right now and roll up these grades. Whew, what a performance from our bench. Yeah, we got Hart here. I'm going to bring Hart up onto the podium. What do you guys think about Precious? Should he get some minutes? I know a lot of people talking about Tyler Kolek. Some people talking about Tyler Kolek as well. So Hart, coming up to the podium. We've got to get Tucker out of here. Tucker's on the bench, though. He's been really encouraging our guys. Deuce McBride will get the A. Mitch got the A as well. Mitch got actually B+, I think, but I might even upgrade that. Josh Hart, solid performance in a big spot. Landry Shamet stepping up in a big spot. Who else we got? DeLon Wright stepping up in a big spot. Man, we have a bench, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. The grades. Deuce with an A, Mitch A, Shamet B+, Hart with an A-, DeLon Wright with a B. And shout out Precious, Huck Porty as well, Tyler Kolek. I think some good signs that we're figuring out what these guys can give us for next season. But hopefully for the rest of the playoffs too. Jazz says, Miss Clyde calling the game. You shout out Clyde. He was in the crowd tonight. Walt Clyde Frazier. He's locked in, man, traveling to Indiana on the road. He's locked in with this squad. Patrick Ewing's locked in with this squad as well. Jazzman says ball movement was key. Elliot says, I thought Precious would get some minutes tonight, but hopefully he'll get some on Tuesday. Yeah, I feel like, the minutes with Obi, you could definitely look at mirroring some Obi minutes with Precious, but They probably just want to go bigger, fam. They want to dominate the rebounds, and they want enough guards to be able to ball handle and play at a certain speed as well. I think that's a key stretch too. Taking care of the ball against Indiana is critical, fam, because if they can't get fast break buckets off turnovers, you can really see what Indiana, how limited they can be in the half court late in the game. Force Nemhard, force Neesmith to put the ball on the deck, make a play, force Halliburton into a tough contested 2 or a step back 3. I think Indiana kind of went away from rotating and making the Knicks, have to rotate, a lot more in this one. Kolek for next season, I think he has to get stronger defensively as well, get in that weight room. But yeah, I like Kolek's future off the bench. He can really play at a good pace, get the ball movement going. Bob says, well, this is the last time local announcers can call games for the playoffs. Yeah. And I think we're stuck with Reggie. We're stuck with Reggie Miller and TNT for the rest of the series. But if we were to make the NBA Finals, it's over to ABC and Mike Breen. But talk about upgrade, guys. How good would it be not only to make the NBA Finals, but to trade Reggie Miller for Mike Breen in the finals, man? Yes, sir. Patrick Ewing was with the squad tonight, AP. I got the graphics for y'all right here. Let's bring it up. Here we have it, ladies and gentlemen, with a certain man you might recognize, the man that put this squad together. Leon the Don Rose with the captain, the original captain, Patrick Ewing. Well, Willis Reed, Willis Reed, the captain, but Captain 33, Patrick, is locked in with the squad. Don't forget he traveled to Boston with the squad as well. I think his presence has been keeping the squad upbeat. Patrick's been, around the organization a lot. Hey, who knows? Hopefully he ends up as an assistant. Hopefully he ends up on the staff. Patrick locked in with Leon pre-game as the Knicks pull out Game 3, man. Roller coaster, cardiac affair. Who knows what's going to happen in Game 4, man? Not even Nostradamus can predict, man, as the Knicks switched it up. Different lineups. Every single game has been a massive swing. It'd take a brave man to bet on what's going to happen in Game 4 because we're seeing what both teams can do now. I think it's just going to come down to who executes the best. Now, Carlisle, credit to him, he's a great coach. He might have another adjustment that I don't see coming. He might have to pull some other adjustment out, or he might just say, you know what? I believe that we've looked the better out of the 2-3 games. I'm going to continue and see if the Knicks can stay in it again on the road because it's going to be tough to stay locked in with the home team coming out with more sauce, but we'll see. But right now, I think Tibbs will stick. I think Tibbs sticks with Mitchell Robinson. But yeah, get Deuce in there faster. I think DeLon Wright, I think Carlisle's going to talk about DeLon Wright. He's going to talk about Deuce. Hart coming off the bench, giving us a nice spark as well. Everyone looking more fresh with Hart off the bench as well. D. Grant says also great move by Tibbs to finally put Wright in the game to slow down Hallie, taking Brunson out the game at times too. Yep. Shout out to Leon as well, for picking up Wright. I know a lot of people criticize that pickup, trying to get more for Jericho Sims, talking about draft picks. But I said DeLon Wright is going to be a factor in the postseason. He's that veteran, experienced guard that you need. You can never have enough ball handling playmakers, defenders, and Wright can do all of that right now. Don't forget he helped save our season when Brunson went down. Right. One of the reasons the Knicks were above 500 in the 17 games Brunson missed was because DeLon Wright was able to start, and keep Payne and Deuce in their bench roles as well. So big night, big win for the organization, right? Whatever happens from here on out, we figured something out, and that Mitchell Robinson can start moving forward. Josh Hart back to his role that I feel could suit him off the bench for the future of this organization, despite whatever upgrades we make, right? Hart was that guy that I feel would, bring his talents to the bench and be able to dominate in that role, and reduce minutes as well. Keep that man healthy. Josh Hart's one of the oldest players in the starting five. He's 30. You see tonight, he fell on the wrist. He took a couple of hits, especially on that heroic rebound as well. So Hart earned his grade tonight, man. Big time clutch free throws from Jay Hart, and from that skying from the heavens from that rebound. Yeah, Carlisle, he's going to be a Hall of Fame coach, man. You forget how long he's been around. He's also a former Knick. Once a Knick, always a Knick. Rick Carlisle, man. He's got a lot of adjustments. We'll see what happens, but he can adjust all that he needs. Maybe his personnel, don't execute. Maybe they let him down. We'll see. As I bring up the matchups now, guys, this is a series. You see Deuce McBride counter what TJ McConnell was able to do. Benedict Mathurin hasn't really been a factor in this thing. I'm going to make this tweak right now on the fly. Let's get DeLon Wright up into the rotation, because Cam Payne, he helped us out throughout the regular season, some of these postseason performances, but it's DeLon Wright's opportunity now. Hopefully he takes it, he grabs it. And look, it'll be a huge mistake for Tibbs to go away from DeLon Wright now in Game 4, based on what we saw tonight. Unless there's injury or foul trouble, I think Cam Payne is on ice for right now, and we'll see how the rest of the postseason plays out. But there we have it. Shamet in the rotation now, DeLon Wright in that rotation. And of course, we've got Mitchie and Hart swapping places. You guys let me know. Do you think Carlisle's going to try anything different? I think they're just going to try to exploit the double big lineup and run, with Obi. But Obi's not a great half-court player, so it works two ways. If the Knicks can, slow it down, secure those boards and make it a half-court grind, you see Cat, you see Brunson able to execute as well. And the clamps got turned on to Tyrese Halliburton late in this one. As Mitch set the tone early, he got our first few buckets down low. Carlisle didn't really do hacker Mitch tonight. It worked in Game 2. Tonight they did not hacker Mitch. The game was too close. See, even if Mitch splits the free throws, that's still critical. So that speaks to how important it was for the game to be close. If the Knicks were trailing by 8 to 10 points under 5 minutes, Carlisle may have gone to the hacker Mitch. But the Knicks were just too close. They were playing also with the lead. Obviously, Neesmith going down is critical. Pacer Nation going to be talking about the Knicks don't get back into this game if Neesmith is out there. That could have been true, but at some point, your luck, it ebbs and flows with some luck. The Pacers had a hell of a lot of luck in Game 1 for the Knicks to have to blow that 17-point lead. Tonight, the Knicks got a little bit of luck with Neesmith checking out of the ball game for a minute. But the Pacers also got some luck with the officiating, tonight. How about that big play, the cat dunk in traffic for the and one? That was probably the biggest play of the night, man. I was out of my seat. when Cat hit that big jam. As now we pull up some quotes. We pull up some quotes from the locker room. Let's go, Knicks Nation. You guys are keeping the streets buzzing. Please smash that like button. Join the conversation. We shout you guys out. And we keep it 100 here. We stay locked in. We have some big quotes from Steph Bondy regarding Hart. We have some quotes from Tom Thibodeau. I'm dialing it up as well. Iman Shumpert says, Josh Hart and Cat definitely answered the call on the 50-50 balls tonight with huge plays from McBride. Knicks still very much in this. Stephen Bondy. Let's bring up these quotes. As we're rolling into Game 4 with the victory, hopefully a momentum shift. Let's go, Knicks Nation. Hart with some big-time quotes. Bondy with some big-time quotes on Hart. So here we go. We have Josh Hart. Bondy says Hart said he came to Tibbs with the idea of moving to the bench. He said it's a discussion that occurred before and talked about doing it before Game 6 against Boston. So there you have it, man. Shout out to Hart, a leader, understands what the team needs and is willing to sacrifice and do whatever is needed. But that is a little still unfortunate that Tibbs isn't the one, deciding and going to Hart. But Hart said he went to Tibbs earlier and it was a possibility for Game 6 against Boston. Maybe the fact that it blew Boston out in Game 6 made Tibbs stick with it. Maybe that is something pivotal as well. One of the rebounds of the year. Look at Hart, man. Neesmith all over him and secures the win with the foul in that one, man. That is poetry in motion with Josh Hart. No boxing out. He says, that's my rebound, man. I'm going to grab it. Great box out from OG on Siakam as well. Tibbs, on if there's any injury concern for Cat or Hart. Tibbs says, no, I don't know if you're aware, but our medical team is voted the best in the league. Tibbs says, hey, we're locked in. No injuries. Everyone's good to go. Right. By hook or by crook. Bobby Marks, ESPN, says that was one terrific coaching job by Tom Thibodeau and his staff tonight, says Bobby Marks of ESPN. So everyone's weighing in on the Tibbs adjustment and a big-time adjustment that could change this series right now. Yep, the right Shamet minutes were big time. Empire State is lit up in orange and blue. Some of the cat haters are eating crow. OG Anunoby with a quick press conference. Sam Vecini says, just has not been a well-officiated basketball game across the board, unfortunately. So, yeah, a lot of people echoing the same sentiment. Hopefully we get a new crew for Game 4 and get what this series deserves, fam. As the Knicks fans at the Garden watch party get loud in the final seconds, man. What have we learnt about this squad? You never count them out, man. It's going to take a hell of a team to knock out these New York Knicks, fam. And look, credit to Indiana. If they do end up winning this series, they should be a chance to win the NBA Finals. If you can knock out the Knicks in a 7-game series, you're good enough to win the NBA Finals, in my opinion. Now, they might not be better than Oklahoma, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for either team right now. And right now, teams are just calling upon reinforcements to try to get control of this series right now. So let's talk about Game 4 before we sign off, man. The series is 1-2. It really should be 2-1 because the Knicks threw away Game 1. The Knicks are a better team on the road. And should we be favourites heading in to Game 4? I'm going to pull up the odds right now. These will be local odds down my area. But I'm gonna peep this. Tuesday, the Pacers are the favourites. Okay, the Pacers are heavy favourites for Game 4. So let's see how that plays out. Obviously, people expect the home team to respond, but I did not think the Knicks played a full 4 quarters tonight, and they escaped with the win. And so, if you want to look at it from that perspective, both teams are capable of coming out and playing, great basketball. So I think Game 4 is going to be a tight one. Right? I think the Knicks have got confidence now, and I think it's going to be a tight game. The Knicks have figured some things out as the series goes. I think Brunson still looks to be, firing. Still, he's got enough gas in the tank. 30 minutes tonight from Brunson, I think, courtesy of the foul trouble. But Neesmith, how he pulls up from the ankle roll is going to be a pivotal storyline heading into a Game 4. I think Carlisle will keep the same starting 5. He'll just try to get them to run and counter the Mitchell Robinson minutes. I think he'll look to try to get TJ McConnell active again. Maybe some Thomas Bryant, maybe some Jarris Walker. He is trusting Ben Shepherd a lot. Does he reduce his trust in Benedict Mathurin, who really hurt them tonight as well? Mathurin hasn't had a great series, so this thing could be even, man, after 4 games. Wouldn't it be crazy if Indiana win the first 2 at MSG, and if the Knicks could respond by winning 2 in Indianapolis, fam? If that's the case, then the series would favor the Pacers because the Knicks can't win at home. The Pacers want to play on the road. Maybe the Knicks want to play on the road. Somebody is going to have to man up and win a game at home to claim this series right now. Cat erupted, just super proud of the starting 5 and the coach for making the right adjustments, and it paid off tonight, fam. As we head into a crazy Game 4 on Wednesday. It's going to be one of the biggest games of the NBA season. I think all eyes will be on what the Indiana Pacers can do, and can the New York Knicks level the series, right? Tomorrow night, I'm going to be locked in as well. If Minnesota can level the series against OKC, whew, the playoffs, man. Nothing comes close to the NBA playoffs and the storylines coming out. If Anthony Edwards and Randall can level the series, that could go 7. Right. That could go 7. This series could go 6 or 7. Right now, man, the best team that executes will take home the prize right now. No time for the faint of hearts as Karl Anthony Towns stepped up. The biggest game of his career in the biggest spot when his team needed him the most, man. Cat had some swag in this one as the Knicks complete their 3rd 20-point comeback in the postseason. The most since 1998. And we did not get an amazing Brunson game. Bridges can be a lot better. But the bench stepped up in a big way. And we'll see what happens in Game 4. Man, hopefully these guys can get good rest tomorrow. Look at some film and feel some confidence heading into Game 4. Obviously, we escaped. We can't go down 20 again. And hopefully we don't. We just got to stay out of foul trouble. Guys, bless up to the chat. Big up to all the diehards in this thing. We're alive. This series is alive. What happens in Game 4 will shape the rest of the series, and the Knicks hopefully got off to a good start with the home crowd silenced. We have some guys that can deliver in the clutch. We've got some defensive players that stepped up. Hopefully we can level the series, but Indiana will be taking us seriously in Game 4. I can assure you of that. But Aaron Nesmith is one to look out for in that one. The Pacers finally did not have a great shooting night tonight from downtown. Salute Buzzer, Rye, AP, Johnny, let's go. Knicks Nation, Mets Knicks, D Grant. Yep, we need some defensive versatility with DeLon Wright. Chris Gotti, let's go. I'm confident. I think Game 4 is a 50-50. Flip of a coin, man. The Knicks are a great road team, man. The Knicks are a great road team. We didn't lose a road game against Detroit. We only lost one road game against Boston, fam. So what are we 6-1? We're 6-1 on the road now. Phenomenal road warriors. Let's go. Let's get it. These brothers bound together, and they feel confident in each other's abilities right now. They didn't want to go down 0-3, and the series is alive right now. Let's go. The streets are buzzing. Peace out.